Can I start by congratulating the Noble Lord Story on securing a second reading for his homeschool education registration and support bill. The aims of this bill, as I think all Noble Lords who've taken part in this very helpful debate today have identified, are admirable and important. Because all children have the right to a suitable education, regardless of whether they're educated at school or at home. But as Noble Lords have emphasised, to ensure that this is the case, it's vital that local authorities have a complete picture of children in their areas, including those not in school. And that's why this government has already committed to introduce proposals in the Children's Wellbeing Bill that would require every local authority in England to keep children not in school registers. And I can say to the noble lady, Baroness Barron, who knows that I'm not in a position to say exactly when the Children's Wellbeing Bill will be introduced, that we did, of course, include it in this year's King's Speech. In fact, I spoke about it in my maiden speech from this dispatch box. So it will be within this parliamentary session. My noble friend Lord Watson also identifies, however, that this is a development which has a very long history, going back, as he says, to the end of the last Labour government. I hope that with the goodwill of Lords across this House, we are getting towards the end of that journey now, and that we will be able to bring forward those proposals and get support for those proposals in the Children's Wellbeing Bill when it arrives. The Noble Lord Story was right to preface his comments by being clear that needing to know where every child is not an attack on the legitimate right to home educate when that is appropriate for children. And as the Noble Lord Lucas says, there are some very good home educating parents who, for a variety of reasons, feel that that is the appropriate decision for them. But it is also right that local authorities understand where those parents are, not least, as Noble Lords have also identified, because in some cases local authorities are already providing good support to home educators, and the noble lady Baroness Barron asked about whether or not there was more that we could do in that respect. And I can say that the children not in school proposals in the Children's Wellbeing Bill will include a duty on local authorities to support home educators should they want it. The noble lady Baroness Goher talked about the nature of the guidance and the conditions around what forms a suitable home education. The department's elective home education guidance does detail 8 components that local authorities should consider when determining whether a child is receiving a suitable education. That includes literacy and numeracy standards, among others. But we do recognise that every child learns differently, and relevant case law gives a broad discretion in how the fundamental right to an effective education is implemented, and a local authority may request different types of evidence to help demonstrate that education provision is suitable. That may include samples of work, a meeting with a child, or a visit to the home. So, having been clear that there is a right to home educate, I also think it's important that we recognise the very big change that has happened over recent years. We cannot ignore official data which shows rising numbers of home educated children, and that increasingly children are being moved into home education due to mental health concerns or special educational needs. And in those cases, their parents may be ill prepared to begin home educating, and so children may be at risk of receiving an unsuitable education or no education at all, a point made by the Right Reverend Prelate, the Bishop of Hereford. And I also think that the noble lady Baroness Gohill was right to say that we need to be clear about the characteristics of those children who have shifted out of schools. And that will also be an important way of identifying their needs and ensuring that they are safeguarded. Local authorities have legal duties to identify children in their areas who are not in school and not receiving a suitable education. But this duty, as many noble lords have said, is of course undermined by the fact that parents have no obligation to inform their local authority of their decision to home educate. And that's why this government will use the Children's Wellbeing Bill to require parents of eligible children to provide information for children not in school registers. This would help local authorities to identify all children not in school in their areas, particularly those who are missing education, and where this is the case, to take action to support those children. The Noble Lord's Bill would also require parents to provide information for children not in school registers, but it doesn't include a consequence if parents don't fulfil their legal duty. And we do think that it's vital that local authorities can take action if parents attempt to evade registration, actions such as initiating the school attendance order process. Where a child is not receiving suitable education, the school attendance order process gives them a route to a suitable education through regular attendance at a named school. Noble Lords also rightly identified that there may be a variety of other reasons why the numbers of children who are being either home educated or who are missing school are rising so considerably. And I share Noble Lords' concerns that some parents are home educating because they perceive that schools cannot meet their special educational needs or disabilities for their children. Improving special educational needs and disabilities is a vital part of the government's opportunity mission, breaking the unfair link between background and opportunity, starting with giving every child with special educational needs or disabilities, along with all other children, the best start in life. And to do this, we urgently need to improve inclusivity and expertise in mainstream schools, whilst ensuring special schools can cater to those with the most complex needs. This is an area of real focus for the department, and we will come forward with more action and reform in this area. And of course, other noble lords have also raised the issue of mental health, and I'm concerned by the rise in parents reporting mental health as their reason for choosing to educate their child at home. As of the autumn census day in October 2023, local authorities have reported that mental health is now the second most common reported reason for moving to home education. And that's why this government is committed to improving mental health support for all children and young people, because that's critical to breaking down barriers to learning. The right support should be available to every young person that needs it, which is why we'll provide access to specialist mental health professionals in every school, why we'll put in place new Young Futures hubs, which will include access to mental health support workers, and we'll recruit an additional 8,500 new mental health staff to treat children and adults. And as the Right Reverend Prelate, the Bishop of Hereford, also spelt out, in some cases, we're aware of cases where parents have felt forced or coerced into home education by their child's school. And this is a clear instance of home education not being chosen in the best interests of the child. Ofsted takes any use of unlawful exclusions and off-rolling very seriously, and where evidence is found by inspectors, it will have a significant impact on the school's leadership and management judgment. Many children, as several noble lords have identified, many children who are home educating will use out-of-school settings, such as tuition centres, to supplement their education or provide enriching or social experiences. And many of those settings do a great job providing safe and enriching activities to children. However, we recognise that there are concerns about the safety profile of some of those settings. And that's why we're taking forward a package of measures aimed at improving safeguarding in the out-of-school settings sector, which includes updated safeguarding guidance for parents, providers and local authorities, an accompanying e-learning package, and a call for evidence on future policy proposals for raising standards. My noble friend Lord Watson and the noble lady Baroness Burt also raised, and the noble Lord Desai also raised the issue of illegal schools. We don't choose to call these schools unregistered because by being unregistered, they are illegal. The government's aim is that all children of compulsory school age receive a safe and suitably broad education. And if parents secure part of their child's education through attendance at an unregistered independent school, they are putting their child into an illegal school, a school which is not known to the department, not subject to inspection against the independent school standard, and therefore there is no system to assure their performance, and they can and often do pose a safeguarding risk. It's illegal to operate an unregistered school, and those conducting an unregistered independent school are committing a criminal offence, and the premises from which they run may already be subject to no-notice inspections by Ofsted, and if sufficient evidence is found, those running them may be prosecuted. We will keep the powers available to Ofsted during these inspections under review, but I just want to be clear that we will not be willing to see children being put in danger in illegal schools. My Lord, there's been some debate today about how children not in school registers may impact particular communities. The noble Lord, Lord Story, raised the correspondence from Rabbi Grapp, and I have received it as well. So I want to reassure the House that this government's proposals would not give local authorities additional powers to mandate the content of home education. Parents could continue to instil in their children religious and cultural values, provided that the education being received is suitable. My noble friend Baroness Whittaker has highlighted that home education is often a necessary choice for the GYPSY, ROMA and traveller community. Every child, but for reasons that are less to do with making a positive decision. On her question about support for distance learning schemes, as my noble friend knows, my department convenes a stakeholder group of representatives from the GYPSY, ROMA and traveller communities and education sector to inform thinking about which policies and reforms can make the greatest positive difference to children and young people from these communities. And I'll write to my noble friend to provide more detail on the work being taken forward to provide the sort of support that she has argued for. And in thinking thinking about the implementation of these registers, can I assure noble lords that we will look to engage broadly and to engage with marginalised groups of parents in order to ensure that we are putting in place appropriate arrangements. My lords, in conclusion, whilst we wholeheartedly support the intention behind this bill, I don't believe that it's the most effective way of bringing compulsory children not in school registers into being. That's why I must express reservations on the contents of the bill. This government already intends to legislate for children not in school registers through the Children's Wellbeing Bill, and we're committed to ensuring that these measures are as robust as possible to minimise the risk of children slipping under the radar. I look forward to discussing the government's bill with noble lords in due course, and I thank the noble lord for bringing forward this important debate today.